Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Anjana Salakaya Chakkuru Nimile Tanjena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jana Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Shri Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Rita Shri Visakham Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kurpa Sindhu Vaivacha Patitanam Pavanabhya Vaishnavya Namo Nama Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbishesha Sunyavadi पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So Hare Krishna, so welcome to the Uddhava Gītā, so seeking the blessings of Srila Prabhupada. So we are starting Uddhava Gītā from today. So, before we start Uddhava Gītā, let us know that how important the Uddhava Gītā is, because Lord Krishna has in Battle of Kurukshetra, Lord Krishna spoke the instruction to Arjuna, the knowledge, transcendental knowledge, very briefly, because it was a war situation and there was less time, 45 minutes only. Lord finished all the 700 verses. But in this scenario, Uddhava Gītā, it was very elaborate explanation of the same speaker, Supreme Lord Krishna, to his dearest devotee, Uddhava. So this knowledge is very, very important. And Krishna himself says, in the end, Krishna says this knowledge is how important. Krishna says that in 1129, almost the end of Uddhava Gītā, he said that one who liberally disseminates this knowledge among my devotees, the bestower of absolute truth, and to him I give my very own self. How important it? How important? So he told whosoever this disseminate this knowledge is very much, dear to. Very much, I give myself to him. So another verses, Krishna also say that, so I have repeatedly spoken this knowledge to you with clear reasoning. Anyone who properly understand it, it will become free. It will become free from all doubts and eternal liberations. So how important this transcendental knowledge, particularly Uddhava Gītā. And not only that, Krishna goes on speaking that he who loudly recites this supreme knowledge, which is the most lucid and purifying, becomes purified day by day, for he reveals to me others with lamp of transcendental knowledge. So our whole duty is to understand this transcendental knowledge. But the importance of transcendental knowledge is given in Uddhava Gītā, because Uddhava Gītā is very unparalleled instruction. It is very much, what you say, unfathomable instruction to his dear devotee. Because without knowledge, Prabhupada said that without perfect knowledge, we cannot act perfectly. We cannot act perfectly. Therefore, Lord Shiva says that out of all the achievement, the most important achievement is achievement of transcendental knowledge. Therefore, this transcendental knowledge is very important. Shreyasam iha sarvesham jnanam nishreyasam param sukham tarati dusparam jnana nor vyasanaran nannabham. So here it is said that in this material world, there are different type of achievement. Lord Shiva spoke this one to Prachetas. that but all of them achievement, all of them, the achievement of knowledge is considered to be the highest, because one can cross the ocean of science only on the boat of knowledge. Otherwise, the ocean is impossible. Impossible. So we are now drowned in this ocean of material science since time immemorial. So unless we have transcendental knowledge, achieve the transcendental knowledge, we cannot surpass. This statement of Lord Shiva, the greatest of Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada also say that in Krishna consciousness, fasting is knowledge. Without knowledge, what is this simply by just jumping Hare Krishna, chanting Hare Krishna, it will dry up after some times. We have to gain this knowledge, devotional knowledge, the transcendental knowledge, so that we can surpass, we can pass this ocean of material science. That is the ultimate goal of life. Therefore, this knowledge, Uddhava Gītā, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, so many literature we have, it is meant to read and imbibe that knowledge and reflect on, contemplate. These are all profound knowledge, very inspiring text. There is another verses he say that this why the transcendental knowledge is important. Many of the devotees that does this, particularly in a neophyte state, they do not like to hear, they do not like to get into this knowledge, thinking that it is very complex or things. But it is very important. Transcendental knowledge in relationship with Supreme Lord Hari, the knowledge resulting in complete suspension of the waves and whirlpool of the material modes. Such knowledge is self-satisfying due to its being free from material attachment. Being transcendental, it is approved by authority. Who could fail to be attracted? Who could fail to be attracted? Simply we have to lend our ear. We have to receive it with full of attention. Then, as Krishna said, day by day it purifies our contaminations, material contamination, and make us eligible to go back to Godhead. Particularly in this age of Kali, it is very, very essential. Uddhava just before the Kṛṣṇa Instructs Uddhava, Uddhava approached to Krishna. That time he quoted the 2-3 beautiful verses that particularly in this age of Kali, this is very important to hear about this knowledge. Uddhava quoted that, my dear Lord, those pious and saintly persons who in the age of Kali hear about your transcendental activity, also glorify them, will easily cross over the darkness of the age. So therefore, this transcendental knowledge is very important. Very important. Not only say, he keep on saying that, they say that, oh my dear Krishna, your pastime are supremely auspicious for mankind, are an intoxicating beverage of the air. Tasting such pastime, people forget the desire, other things. So this hearing is very important. Hearing Krishna Katha, or the knowledge given by the Lord himself, is very, very important. On this note, we will start with the Uddhava Gītā. So Uddhava is a very great devotee of the Lord. Very intimate devotee. He's a cousin, and he has so many. He has been so much attached to Krishna from the childhood even. So even Krishna also declared that there is no such dear devotee than Uddhava. In these beautiful verses, Krishna say, my dear Uddhava, neither the Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Sankarsan, the Godhead of fortune, nor indeed my own self is as dear to as me you are. So this Bhagavad Lord, therefore, Uddhava is very exalted devotee. So Lord wanted to instruct this knowledge. Lord wanted to disseminate the knowledge through Uddhava, just like he wanted to disseminate the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita through Arjuna. Similarly, here in Uddhava Gītā, it is more profound, more comprehensive, more elaborate knowledge of transcendental knowledge. Lord wants to convey, impart this knowledge to everybody, not only Uddhava, but through Uddhava. Because Uddhava is very qualified, is a devotee. Krishna say this kind of knowledge only to be understood by a devotee only, devotee and friend. Bhaktosimi Sakhacheti. Otherwise, we cannot understand the purport of this very high philosophical knowledge. So before we start the Uddhava Gītā, which is very unparalleled instruction, very unfathomable instruction of Bhagavad Gita, we go through the 11th canto so that we can know that what is there in 11th canto, so that we can have a little knowledge about the a little background of this knowledge. So the 11th canto has got 31 chapters, and chapter 1 is Curse upon the Yadu dynasty. Chapter 2 to 6 is Maharaj Nimi meets Navajogendra, the 9 sons of Rishabhadev. And there was a very nice philosophical discussion. We will not cover in our course, but later on one time we will separately take this Maharaj Nimi meets Navajogendra. This is a conversation between Narada and Vasudev, Krishna's father. In that, Narada is referring the meeting of Maharaj Nimi with Navajogendra about the importance of devotional service. And chapter 7 to 29 is Uddhava Gītā. 23rd chapter, 23 chapters are dedicated to Uddhava Gītā. And 30 and 31 is disappearance of Yadu dynasty and Lord Krishna. So let's start with the Uddhava Gītā with chapter 7. But before we go, we have to have some introduction of these things. So I have prepared some of the notes. So Uddhava Gītā contains the unparalleled, unfathomable instruction of the Lord to his dear devotee Uddhava. So because many subjects are briefly discussed by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, but Uddhava Gītā subjects are very detailed, very with more dealt with more elaborately. So actually Lord desired to, because Lord has come to the earth, paritranaya sadhana vinasya chaduskritam. So when Mother Earth was overburdened by the military phalanx, he approached to, in the form of a cow, he approached to the Brahma. Brahmaji told, this is not my under my jurisdiction, under my capacity. So he escalated. He brought her to, with all the demigods, to Lord in Setadup. And he was praying, and Lord said that, okay, I will appear. So Krishna appeared to release the burden of the earth. So, and after this Kurukshetra war, then he thought of wind up these pastimes. So he wanted to wind up the pastime and go back to Godhead. Also, the demigods also prayed that, my Lord, you have already completed all your things. You have completed your pastimes. There's nothing to be do. Please come back to come back to Golok Vrindavan, because they are obliged, because Lord came for their purpose. So this is the Lord desire, the destruction of Yadu dynasty, so that he could completely wind up his pastime on the earth and go back to his own abode. So using the pretense of a curse, because there was a curse by the Brahmanas to the Yadu dynasty. But actually that is not the curse. Krishna can counteract anything. He's Supreme Lord, supremely potent. But on the pretense of that curse, he wanted to wind up his pastimes. That is whole idea of that. And before he winds up his pastime, he wanted to disseminate the final instruction, the topmost instruction, Uddhava Gītā, to his pure devotee Uddhava. That is the prelude of this, things. Prelude of this, yeah. So in Lord Krishna instruct the Uddhava about the different subject matter. So Uddhava is here. Uddhava, when he heard about the Lord is going to leave, so he was very much, very much aggrieved. What he told, he approached the Lord. He approached the Lord. He told that, my Lord, I wanted to come with you. Please take me with you. So here in this little bit of background, if we go 11 canto, 6 chapter, 42 verses, when Uddhava came to know that Lord is going to wind up all the things, and he arranged all this pastime, that the Brahmanas cursed this Yadu dynasty. One time what happened, these Yadus, they went to a place called Pindaraka. In that Pindaraka, they were one of the son of Krishna called Sambha. Sambha is the son of Krishna and Jambavati. So he they were acting as a he was he was dressed as a woman, pregnant woman, trying to jokingly play with the sages, the great sages like Narada, Durvasa. So when he approached to, or the Yadu's children, the young boys, they approached to the sages, they asked that who is inside the pregnant, who is in the pregnant. So the sages knew that they were being ridiculed, a joke. It was a joke. They're cracking joke with him. So they caused them that whatever it is in your pregnancy, you will find out one club, the iron club, that will destroy your entire dynasty. It was stated in the 11th canto. In here you can see that 11th canto, 11th canto, the first chapter. It is stated that when the when to that holy place the young boys of Yadu dynasty had brought Samba, son of Jambavati, dressed in a woman's garb, playfully approaching the great sages gathered there. The boy grabbed hold of the sages' feet, impudently asked them, with feigned humility, "O learned Brahmana, this black-eyed pregnant woman has something to ask you. She is too embarrassed to inquire for herself. She is just about to give birth, is very desirous to having a son. Since all of you are great sages with infallible vision, please tell us whether her child will be a boy or a girl." So they want to ridicule the sages. The sages were very angry. So the sages, the ridiculed by this, the sages became angry. "O king," told the boys, "fools, she will bear you an iron club that will destroy your entire dynasty." One thing, very important thing to be learned from here, that a sadhu should not be ridiculed. Sadhu should not insult a sadhu. That is very, very just like inviting a misfortune. We should not insult the misfortune. So, but the unethical way of behaving by Jadus, who are the eternal associate of Kṛṣṇa, is nothing but orchestrated by Kṛṣṇa himself. Otherwise, they should not. Usually, they don't do. But it was orchestrated by Kṛṣṇa, so that by this pretense of the curse, Lord wanted to withdraw the Jadu dynasty, and also he himself wanted to go back to Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan. That was his plan. So that was just a pretense of this. This is just a background, a backdrop, a prelude to this whole things of speaking the Uddhava Gītā. So when this is happening, then Uddhava is approaching the Supreme Lord. He is anticipating that Lord will withdraw, because Uddhava is a pure devotee. Pure devotee understand the Lord intention. Uddhava said, "O my Lord, O Supreme God, among all the demigods, real piety is invoked simply by hearing and chanting your transcendental glory." See, very, very important. See how he is speaking. "O my Lord, O Supreme God, among all the demigods, real piety is invoked simply by hearing and chanting your transcendental glories." People wanted in auspiciousness, piety. This piety means simply by hearing the glories of this. That is spiritual piety actually. And chanting your transcendental glories. "My Lord, it appears that you will now withdraw your dynasty, and thus you yourself will finally give up your pastime within this universe. You are the supreme controller and master of all mystic power. But although you are fully capable of counteracting Brahmana's curse against your dynasty, you are not doing so. Your disappearance is imminent." See? So when Uddhava came to know that Jadu dynasty was cursed by the Brahmana sages, he knows, but Kṛṣṇa, who is supreme powerful, supremely potent, omnipotent, he could have counteracted. No, because Kṛṣṇa wanted to go back and withdraw the Yadu dynasty and bring all the innumerable family members back to their respective places. That's why Uddhava, anticipating that your disappearance is imminent, now you are going to wind up your pastime. Then he continued that, "O Lord Keshava, my dear master, I cannot tolerate giving up your lotus feet. Even for a fraction of a moment, I urge you to take me along with you to your own abode." So the pure devotee cannot tolerate the separation from the Lord. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaura Purnima is coming. He nicely have symptoms. He is speaking in nostalgia. Sikhyastakam that Nainam Galada Asrudharayam Jugayitam Nimishena Chakusa Prabhasaitam Sunaita Jagata Sarvam Govinda Viranam. The symptoms of pure devotee is that they cannot tolerate even a moment of separation from the Lord. Just like gopis. Gopis are causing the Brahma. You do not know how to create the world. You are creating the eyelid which is obstructing that for that moment to see the Supreme Lord, supremely attractive Krishna. So how the symptoms of a pure devotee is always interested, always desire to go, always, they cannot live without love. They cannot. Not like all that only Sunday program we will come. What is this? Other day? No. That of the Sunday program at the time evening. So that is not the symptoms. Symptoms of serious devotee means we feel we have got a taste. We have to develop the taste for Krishna. I want to go to temple. I want to hear. I want to serve. I want to see the Lord. That lowlium, that greediness should develop. Not that they say, oh, I will go today Sunday. There is a routine program. I will go. Other day I forget. That is not the, actually, should not be the mood of a devotee. Devotee should always eager. The taste, Prabhupada say that ruchi. We have to develop that ruchi, just like a drunkard. A drunkard, if he does not drink for one day, he become mad. A chain smoker, same thing. We have to get that addiction, that urge, that desire to see the Lord. That taste we should develop. So here, Uddhava is already a pure devotee. So he is now requesting, my Lord, I cannot tolerate giving up your lotus feet. Even for a fraction of moment, I urge you to take me along with your own abode. So these are the prelude to Uddhava Gītā, prelude to the Lord instruction to Uddhava. So in the next verse, Uddhava is continuing that, my dear Krishna, your pastime are supremely auspicious for mankind, are in an intoxicating beverage for the years. Testing such pastime, people forget the desire for other things. We have so many desire. How to stop this desire? How to forget that desire? Desire cannot be make zero. The Prabhupada used to say, you cannot be desireless, like Buddha's philosophy, no. But that desire can be purified when you always hear the Krishna Katha. Just like a beverage, people are addicted to coffee, tea. You devotees should be addicted to hear the Krishna Katha. That is the real addiction. Yeah, yes, we are also addicted, but addicted to hearing Krishna Katha. That is the difference between a materialistic and a Krishna consciousness person. Therefore, we have to be addicted to hear Krishna Katha. Then only we forget the other desire. Otherwise, what we will do? We have to hear something. We have to desire something. We have to act something. Nobody can, stay without acting something. But that action causes bondage. But the action of hearing Krishna Katha liberates us. Therefore, here Uddhava is speaking, no, my Lord, your Krishna Katha is very liberating. It's a beverage, intoxicating beverage. My dear Lord, you are the supreme soul, thus you are the most dear to us. We are your devotee. How can we possibly reject you? How can we possibly reject you and live without you, even for a moment? Whether we are lying down, sitting, walking, standing, bathing, enjoying recreation, eating, or doing anything else, we are constantly engaged in yourself. That is the pure devotee. Everything. Savai Punsam, Savai Krishna Manapadaravinda. So every time, just like Amrish Maharaj, always engaged in this service 24 hours. Similarly, the devotee is always 24/7. Satatam Kittanti Mama Zantatsu Uddhavata. So in this way, it's very nice verses. This verse is very nice. Simply by decorating ourselves with the garland and fragrant oils, cloth, ornament that you have already enjoyed, by eating the remnants of your meals, we, your servants, will indeed conquer illusory energy. Illusory energy of the Lord, very, very, Daivai Gunamai Mamamaya Duratai. Very difficult to cross. Here, Uddhava is speaking very nicely that yes, we can conquer the Maya simply by Toya Upabhakta. Very nice Sanskrit. This Sanskrit is very nice. It is said that Toya Upabhakta Sraggandha. Toya Upabhakta means which is already enjoyed, already offered to you. Offering like just like we are offering the saint, we are offering the flower garland, we are offering the tulasi, we are offering prasadam, we are offering the dress. And that remnant of the Lord is very important, because by accepting it, that remnant, we will conquer the Maya. Very nice verse. Then Uddhava is continuing that this is just before the Krishna spoke Uddhava Gītā, spoke the instruction to Uddhava. So this is a beautiful verses. O greatest of mystic, O greatest of mystic, although we are conditioned soul wandering on the path of fruitive work, we will certainly cross beyond the darkness of the material world simply by hearing about your Lordship in the association of your devotees. See, today I posted this verse. This is very, very, very important verses. Srila Prabhupada's whole Hare Krishna movement is based on this line, this particular line. That we, the conditioned soul, we have torn away from the Lord. We are the refugee of Goloka Vrindavan. We have been engaged in this concentration camp. These Nazis, the Germans, Hitler's Nazis. We are in a concentration camp, refugee camp, in suffering, undergoing obnoxious suffering in this material world. Only way to cross the darkness of the material world is simply by hearing about your Lordship in association of your devotee. So this Hare Krishna movement Prabhupada set up is not whimsical. It's completely based on the Shastric knowledge. And so much so that Prabhupada is so magnanimous, so great, so exalted. He designed the program such that we can easily cross. We don't have to undergo so much austerity, so much penance. Simply by hearing the glories of the Lords in association of devotee, because without association of devotee, we cannot understand the concept. Alone, if we read Uddhava Gītā, we cannot understand. This Uddhava Gītā, what I am going to speak, is based on the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati commentary. So, I will be only referring to their commentary and purport, because Prabhupada has not given this purport. So, this is very important in association of devotee, because Chanakya Pandit say that you have to do austerity alone, but you have to study combiningly with two or more, combined study. Therefore, Prabhupada always used to stress on the point that you discuss the scriptures, discuss my books among the devotees, so that we will have a clear conception what is the essence of the subject matter. Alone we will be bewildered. We cannot know the essence of the scriptures. So in this way, very nice, nicely praying Uddhava just before the instruction, my Lord instruct to Uddhava. We ecstatically recall your amorous pastime with your confidential conjugal devotee, how you boldly smile and move about while engaged in such a youthful pastime. My dear Lord, your loving pastime are bewildering, similar to the activities of ordinary people within the material world. So Lord comes as a human being. Just like ordinary people dealing, he comes so that we can relate, we can connect him. So magnanimous, he is he is revealing his confidential forms, his name, his pastimes to everyone, so that by hearing those pastimes, we can go back to Godhead. Whole idea is that Krishna is coming and enacting such a pastime, which is bewildering. Supreme Lord is coming and he is being bound by the mother Jasoda. He is just like a henpecked lover of Radharani and Gopis. He is an obedient son who is the supreme controller. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Tanvanti Divyastabai Vedai Sangha Upanishada Gayanti Yam Samakha Dhyana vasishta tadgatena manasa paschanti yogina jaschantana vidusura saragana devi. Tasmei namaha, tasmei namaha. My dear Lord, the great personality like Brahma, Indra, Rudra, Maruta, all these people, they were always praying you with Vedic hymn. There was always at your lotus feet. The great Himalaya, the sages, they are meditating on you, but still they cannot understand you. You are so supreme controller. Nobody can, is beyond you. Etatamsa kala Krishna, Krishna tu swayam Bhagavana. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. Param Brahma Paramadhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. So you are the greatest, but still your pastime as a human coming under your devotee control is bewildering. Kunti Devi also same thing he told. It's very bewildering. But why the Lord comes and enact pastime? Because this wonderful pastime of the Lord, when you hear, we will be attracted to him. Because in the conditioned life, in the present status of life, we are so much inclined to, so much, so much fascinated with the material things. Ambani marriage, so many crores of, everybody is watching. A person who does not have job, who does not have money, still his mobile phone is watching and very become happy. How useless. So much attracted to the external glamour of this material world. Therefore, Krishna say one of the verses, we can just go back and go there and come back. There are very nice verses. Brahma is speaking. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusandeha astito bhajate tadrish krida yes sutta tat paro bhavet. This is a beautiful verses, Brahmaji. When Lord assume a human-like body to show the mercy to his devotee, he engaged in such pastime as will attract those who hear about them to become dedicated to him. Whole idea to attract. That's why he comes in the human form of life, enacted so much pastime. He's speaking to Arjuna Bhagavad Gītā. He's speaking now Uddhava Gītā. What for? And he is enacting so much pastime to attract us, so that by hearing we will be attracted to him and dedicated to him, surrender to him. The whole idea. That means he's planning. He's more interested to bring us back to Godhead than we himself interested to go back to Godhead. How much magnanimous Lord. His mercy is beyond any boundaries. So on these notes, so in this way, Uddhava is praying that I wanted to come to you, and your pastime, everything is glorifying the Lord. So after hearing this, all the glorification, now the Krishna is speaking the Uddhava Gītā. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Yadatha ma mahabhaga tatchikrisitam eva me Brahma bhavaloka pala swarvasam me avikhyani avikhyankina. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "O greatly fortunate Uddhava, you have accurately revealed my desire to withdraw the Yadu dynasty from the earth and return to my own abode in Vaikuntha. Thus Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva and all other planetary rulers are now praying for me to resume my residence in Vaikuntha." So the demigods also, who prayed Krishna to come, descend and protect the earth, which is overburdened by the military phalanx of demoniac king. So now the same demigods also praying because they are very obliged. Krishna already did everything for them. 125 years Krishna spent on the earth and paritranaya sadhuna vinasayata dushkitam dharma sanstapanarthaya, established the dharma, annihilate the miscreants and protect his devotee. Then the same demigod they are praying, please resume your residence in Vaikuntha. Answering the prayer of Lord Brahma, I descend within this world along with my plenary portion, Lord Baladev, and perform various activity on behalf of the demigods. I have now completed my mission here. Now, due to the Brahmana's curse, Yadu dynasty will certainly perish by fighting among themselves. On the 7th day from the today, an ocean will rise up, inundated this city of Dwaraka. That means this Uddhava Gītā was spoken at Dwaraka. O saintly Uddhava, in the near future I will abandon this earth. Then, being overwhelmed by the age of Kali, the earth will be bereft of all piety. My dear Uddhava, you should not remain here on the earth. Once I have abandoned this world. My dear devotee, you are sinless, but in Kali Yuga, the people will be addicted to all type of sinful activity. Therefore, do not stay here. See, Krishna himself said that. This Kali Yuga is very bad. Mandas manda mataya manda bhagya hipadita. Very bad. This age of quarrel and discrepancy, quarrel and hypocrisy. Anything if you want to do, there is a challenge, there is an objection. Very difficult is this age of Kali. So therefore, Prabhupada always say that just finish your business in this life, go back to Godhead. Do not stay in this age of Kali. More you stay, prolong our stay, more things will be difficult for us to go back to Godhead. As Kali advances, things are very degenerating. This religiosity is degenerating and it is deteriorating day by day. Therefore, just finish. Just finish. Prabhupada used to say, my Guru Maharaj used to say, this place is like a toilet. And you are coming here, you have some business, finish it and go back. Don't stay. Nobody likes to in toilet. You cannot make the toilet as a good place just by throwing or sprinkling some scent, perfume. No. It's a dukkhalayam. All your endeavor, all your effort will be failure eventually. So therefore finish. Uddhava, Krishna also same thing. Is telling this Kali Yuga, or you don't stay here. You will be contaminated. Now you should completely give up all attachment to your personal friends, relative, and fix your mind on me. Thus being always conscious of me, you should observe all things with equal vision and wander throughout the earth. So he is advising, or you don't stay there, but you fix your mind. But he do not want to take back to Uddhava now, because he has some business with Uddhava. What is the business? My dear Uddhava, the material in the universe that you perceive through your mind, speech. So this is the thing. He do not want that Uddhava should stay here. He wanted that Uddhava should disseminate this knowledge to Badrikashram, to everybody, and particularly the sages in Badrikashram, Naranara and Rishis, and all these associates. Because Lord went to everywhere, but he could not. There's a beautiful verses is there. We can see here in my notes book. So here you can see that Lord went to everywhere, but he could not went to he could not go to the Badrinara. He went to everywhere. He went to even Vaikuntha also, but he could not go to the Badrikashram. He was very busy. So he thought that this Uddhava is the best candidate. I can impart this Uddhava Gītā not only to everybody, also particularly to Badrikashram, the sages in Badrikashram, so that this knowledge will be properly disseminated far and wide. So here it says that then Krishna was speaking the Uddhava Gītā, that you first renounce all this that is material, because this is very, very this material world is very, what you say, is very this Kali Yuga is very sinful, very challenging. Yes. So he told, my dear Uddhava, the material universe that you perceive through your mind, speech, eyes, ears, other senses in illusory creation, that one imagined to be real due to the influence of Maya. In fact, you should know that all the subject of the material senses are temporary. So Krishna telling, whatever we perceive through all the things is just temporary. Bhuta praliyate. It is transient by nature. Dukkhalayam asasvatam. Therefore, you should not stay here. One who is the kind well-wisher of all living beings, who is peaceful, firmly fixed in knowledge and realization, sees me within all things. Such a person never again falls down into the cycle of birth and death. So here Krishna says that how you should renounce all the material things. He is telling you should be fixed in the knowledge, knowing that it is temporary. You should be well-wisher to all living beings and very peaceful, and never fall down in the cycle of birth. In this way, we can cross it. My dear Lord, Supreme Soul, for those whose minds are attached to thee, then Uddhava is asking, those who are minds attached to the sense gratification, and especially for those bereft of devotion unto you, such renunciation of material enjoyment is most difficult to perform. This is my opinion. So here he requested the Lord to give some knowledge that the materialistic people who is very much bhogoshchara prasaktanam, they are so much interested in sense gratification. Krishna say for them devotional service is not possible. So Uddhava also asking the same thing. Bhagavad Gītā also same thing. Arjuna, Krishna spoke to Uddhava, sorry, spoke to Arjuna. The same thing is now answering the Uddhava question, that those who are engaged in sense gratification, they cannot take up the devotional service. So how they can be delivered? So Lord is speaking that after hearing Uddhava's request, Supreme Lord says that the spirit soul is himself can act as a spiritual master. But the human form of life is very dear to him. In this connection, the Lord related to Uddhava a conversation between Avadhuta and King Adu and took place long ago. So now Krishna has already started the already started Uddhava Gītā. The first thing is that he spoke that you have to renounce the material thing. Then second, he told when Uddhava asked that how a person engaged in sense gratification can renounce. Then very nice verses he quoted in that how one can by the intelligent, by his own intelligence, one can directly, indirectly can perceive the things. Here Krishna says this very nice verses that an intelligent person expert in perceiving the world around him, in applying sound logic can achieve real benefit through his own intelligence. Thus sometimes one acts as his own instructing spiritual master. It is said that sometimes one acts as his own spiritual master because of logic. Intelligent has got logic and reasoning to know it is good, it is bad. So Lord is continuing that. In this way one can learn. In the human form of life, those who are self-controlled, expert in spiritual science of Sankhya can directly see me along with all my potency. So those who know the spirit, soul and the body, difference between spirit, soul and body, they can know me. And very nice verses Krishna say, in this world there are many kind of created bodies, some are with one leg, other with 2 or 3, 4 more legs, still others with no leg. But all of this, the human form is actually dear to me. Why the human form is very dear to Krishna? Because human form of life is endowed with the sufficient intelligence to imbibe this understanding that I am not this body, I am the soul. And my ultimate goal of life to go back to Godhead, to change my atmosphere from material atmosphere to spiritual atmosphere, to transfer from material atmosphere to spiritual atmosphere. Therefore, human form of life is very dear to God. In another verses also Krishna say 11:9-28 that out of all the forms I created, I am not satisfied. After creating the human form of life, I am satisfied because human form of life got endowed with sufficient intelligence to go back to Godhead. Therefore, it is a VIP ticket. It is a VIP ticket actually. But if we lose this ticket, this is a colossal loss. This is a colossal loss. So in this way, Krishna is speaking. Then we can go back to our notes. So Krishna then say that once the king Jadu, the son of Jajati, happened to see an Avadhuta who was happily wandering about here and there, sometimes acting like a materialistic, sometimes acting like a madman, sometimes like a one haunted by a ghost. When King Jadu asked the Avadhuta about the cause of the ecstatic wandering, he replied that he was traveling throughout the world as liked after having received the instruction from the 24 spiritual masters, such as earth, air, sky, water, fire, and due to this instruction, he was able to wander over the earth as a liberated conditioned soul. This is a very important thing. So Krishna is now giving an analogy, it's a story, not an analogy, a history, historical effect. One time, this Avadhuta, the Avadhuta Brahmana, he was wandering in a city. So the king is King Jadu, which is the son of Jajati. So he saw that this man, this person is so overwhelmed, ecstatic, sometimes like a madman, sometimes this, sometimes that, but he is very happy. How can he be happy? So that is the very important lesson, that how a person who is self-realized, he is always happy. Miswam punnam sukhayate. A self-realized soul can never be unhappy. A pure devotee can never be unhappy on all circumstances. Viswam punyam sukhayate. Prabodhananda Saraswati. There's a beautiful verses in this regard. Is there in 11th canto. So I will show you this very nice verses. These verses says that how a realized soul act. 11, 13, 36. There's a beautiful verses. In these verses, it is said that just as a drunken man does not notice if he is wearing his coat, shirt, similarly one who is perfect in self-realization, who is thus active his eternal identity, does not notice whether the temporary body is sitting, standing. Indeed, if by God's will body is finished, or by God's will obtains a new body, a self-realized soul does not notice, just as a drunken man does not notice the situation of his outward dress. So this is the thing. A person who is really self-realized, he do not know anything. He is very in ecstasy. Is full of ecstasy. He doesn't care for any other thing. He's not so concerned about external thing. Just like Rishabhadev. He was like madman. He's going everywhere, like a naked says. So this is the symptoms of a very self-realized pure devotee. So this Avadhuta Brahmanas is the same symptoms. So he told that I have learned from a 24 spiritual master. I have learned from the 24 spiritual master how to become so unattached to this body, and as a soul, spirituals, we are always in ecstatic. The Avadhuta had learned the quality of tolerance from the earth, the different 24 elements, 24 spiritual masters. The first thing he learned from the earth, he had learned the quality of tolerance from the earth. Even though living entity continuously walk over the surface of the earth, but earth remains steady and fixed. Just like he learned, first thing he learned from the earth. Earth is very tolerant. See, on the earth, we are building skyscraper building, we are walking, we are digging like a oil. So much things are doing, but earth is very tolerant, never protest. So therefore, a devotee should be tolerant. This is one of the quality, titiksha karunika. The beautiful verses, the quality of sadhu is spoken by the Kapil Dev to devotee. Lord Kapila says that 3:25-21 that the symptoms of a devotee is titikya. Titikya means tolerant. He is always tolerant. So we should learn from the earth how to become tolerant. Krishna also said that tam titikkasa Arjuna. Arjuna was repenting that my spiritual master will die, my Bhishma will die, grandfather will die. So you have to titikkasa, you have to tolerate. This is inevitability. So tolerance is a very good quality. Avadhuta learned his quality from the earth. The same way, intelligent person should never give up the following his prescribed path, whether he meets happiness or distress. So a devotee should always engage. Just like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said that even after you face the innumerable problems in your devotional path, still you should be tolerant and continue that. And finally, definitely you will get the result. So the tolerance is a very important quality for devotee. You have to tolerate. Sometimes we face because we are staying in this material world. So there is always a misery is a concomitant fact. Sometimes happiness, sometimes distress. But devotee should be tolerance. Just like Krishna advised Arjuna, you should tolerate. Then from the earth. The earth has also two features. What is the two features? Mountain and trees. Mountain, what we learn from the mountain? Mountain sustains the earth, produces a stream that supply water, produces various jewels. Tree gives shares and wood. All these are meant for other benefit. Another thing up to earth, another lesson from the earth we should learn, that is to always give benefit to others. Just like a tree. Tree is giving us shades, giving us the wood for fire or cooking. but we caught the tree. He never protested. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Na depi sunisena tororopi saisnuna." You have to tolerate like a tree. Always thinking of the welfare of others. That is the quality of devotee. Those who are not thinking the welfare of the others, they are thinking very selfish. They cannot go back to Krishna. There is a beautiful verses I will show you. Very nice verses it is there in 4th canto. This is by Narada Muni. Very nice verse. Here it is said that Narada Muni or Brahma is not. Who Swayambhavu Manu spoke to Durga Maharaj. The self-effulgent Vaikuntha planet, by whose illumination alone all the illuminating planet within the material world give off reflected light, cannot be reached. Vaikuntha cannot be reached by those who are not merciful to other living entity. Only person who constantly engage in welfare activity for other living entity can reach Vaikuntha planet. The qualification of reaching Vaikuntha planet means we have to think like a tree, like a mountain, like a earth, always welfare of others. So these lessons are very, very important. Uddhava Gītā is not just a small scale philosophy, it's a very profound, very nice instruction by the Lord. Then we can learn from the air also. Air is satisfied with bare necessity. Air is of two types. One is life air, wind. Life air moves within the body, the air of the external world or wind. What we have to learn from the air is being described here. The life air performs its duty and is simply satisfied with food and other bare necessity of life. As the senses enjoy various sense objects such as form, taste, so on, the air does not. See, our all senses enjoy so many things. Our eyes wanted to see beautiful things. He enjoys. Our nose enjoys of smelling beautiful fragrance. Our tongue tasted palatable dishes. But air, life air, does not do that. It is bare necessity. Just there so that life and soul become together. He does not want. Therefore, a devotee should learn from the air that we should be always satisfied with bare necessity. We should not be hankering, I should have got more things. I should have 2 rasgulla, 2 gulab jamu. Sunday feast, I did not get the gulab jamu. They should not complain like bare necessity. There's a beautiful verses in this regard. There's a beautiful verses in this regard. There's a nice verse in Bhagavatam. It is say that 2:4, I think. There's a beautiful verses in this regard. Somewhere in 2nd chapter it is there. Let me find out. See, this is the beautiful verses. It is stated here. For the enlightened person should endeavor only for the minimum necessity of life, while in the world of names, he should be intelligently fixed and never endeavor unwanted things, being competent to perceive practically that all such endeavors are merely hard labor for nothing. See, it's nothing. Kamasya nendriyapite lava jivet javat. Our whole endeavor to mend, not to mend for the unnecessary thing, artificial thing. I will have a 30-40 dresses, 30-40 shoes, sandals. I spend so much money in the marriage for my marriage. All these things is unnecessary. Very unnecessary, unwanted things. So, therefore, it is stated that one should not do that. When there are ample of earthly flash to lie on, what is the necessity of cots and beds? When one can use his own arms, what is the necessity of pillow? When one can use the palms of his hand, what is the necessity of varieties of utensils? When there is simple, ample covering, a skin of the trees, what is the necessity of clothing? See? Everything has been very bare necessity. Sannyasi are meant for that, bare necessity. Therefore, the Goswamis, they follow all the things. Very bare necessity. They stay under the trees, even not attached to trees. Sometimes one day one tree, another day other trees. For bare necessity, Raghunath Goswami was taking only a palm full of buttermilk. It is followed by things, bare necessity. Because our main aim to get out from this material world. We are not here to entangle all this. So therefore, we should learn from the life air, how to live with bare necessity. That is the lesson. So then we can go to the this air also. There's a wind is there. What we learn from the wind? So we can learn from the wind that what can be learned from the wind is being described. Even one is exposed to sense gratification, one should not become attached to it. One should remain unattached to the bodily activity. Although the wind may carry a good or bad aroma, it is not affected by them, does not mix with them. Similarly, even though self-realized soul may live in a material world, act according to his acquired nature, he does not become entangled. See, very, very important lesson. Just like a wind is going through a garden, it carries this beautiful flowers aroma. It going through a filthy places, it carries through very filthy smell. But wind is not mixed with. Wind is not mixed. Similarly, although we can stay in this material world, at the same time we will be detached. We will not mix with them. That is stated in chapter 5, Bhagavad Gītā. Krishna says that, like a lotus flower. Although it is grown in the mud, it is not touched. Similarly, although we stayed, Iha Jasya Harer Dasa, Karmana Manasa Vacha. Even though we stayed in the material world, we can be liberated. We should untouched. How we can be untouched? Iha Jasya Harer Dasa. Prabhupada always quoted these verses. Means we should engage our manasa bacha, karmana manasa bacha, our activities, our mind, our word in the service of the Lord. So there is no question of being entangled or mixed with material world, contaminated with material world. So we should learn from the wind. Then we can, what we learn from the sky? Sky, although the super soul is situated both inside, outside all the object, he remains unattached. Just like a sky, this is the lesson to be learned from the sky. Just like super soul is there, as inside the heart is there, and also outside Supreme Lord is there, but he is unattached. He is not attached with material world. He is beyond this contamination of three modes of material nature. Similarly, we have to learn the lesson that how to remain unattached. Like the sky, although present within the all moving, non-moving living entity, he remains situated in his supreme position. Just as the sky remains aloof despite the presence of the clouds being driven by the mighty wind, the spirit soul is always aloof from the material body, made up of fire, water, earth, which was created by. See this the spirit soul, although is encased in this body which is made up of material thing, but he is free. He is not entangled. He is not entangled. This is also a very nice verse. It is spoken by, let me check out. It is spoken by this Uddhava Gītā also. There is a very beautiful verses in this regard, that how the spirit soul is always not contaminated by the yes. This is also Krishna spoke in the later chapter, 28th chapter. Lamentation, elation, fear, anger, greed, confusion, hankering, as well as birth and death are experience of the false ego, not the pure soul. So soul is not affected by birth, death. Na jayate mahamuryate kada. Adanitya sasutayam prana nahanyate hanyamane sarira. The soul is not affected by the all kind of changes in the body. Just like a sky. Sky is not affected by the cloud moving this side, that side. Similarly, a spirit soul is not affected. We should learn from that we should not be affected by this, all this material ups and down. Then next we can learn from this chapter only the 8 elements. 8 spiritual master has been mentioned in this chapter. Rest of the chapter, water. What we learn from the water? Now the lesson to be learned from the water is being described. Water is by nature pure and cooling. It is considered to be affectionate toward everyone. Water is sweet. Saintly persons are also sweet by nature. They purify all the living entity by instructing them about devotional service. Saintly persons should behave as well as the well-wishing friend of everyone, just like water. Devotees purify everyone, just as water purifies everything in contact. See, this is a very nice lesson from water. The devotees are like water. They can Just like anybody come in contact with water, water is meant for purifying. Is purified, like we take bath to purify externally. Similarly, if we come in contact with a devotee or saintly person, we purify. We get purified. So therefore, a devotee should be like a water, should be pure and sanctified. Anybody come in contact with devotee, they will remember Krishna, get purified. That is devotee. Prabhupada said devotee means by seeing a Vaishnava, one will chant Hare Krishna or one will become Vaishnava. That is real Vaishnava. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. There are beautiful verses in this regard, that how devotees are very like a water. So there's a verse is there. This is from I think 11th canto also. There's a beautiful verses where it is said that devotees are very yes, mere bodies of water do not constitute holy place, nor the lifeless statues of demigod actually worshipable deity, because the external vision failed to appreciate the higher essence of holy rivers and demigods. These purify only after a considerable time, but devotee like you purify immediately just by being seen. So devotees are very, very exalted in that sense. Anybody come in contact with no. There's a beautiful verses it is say that simply by our remembering you, our houses become instantly sanctified. What to speak of seeing you, touching you, wishing you, washing your holy feet, offering you a seat in your home. So devotee means, therefore we invite devotees to house and all, because as soon as we see the devotee, as soon as we talk with devotee, somehow in contact with devotee, we get purified, sanctified. Just like Nalakubera and Manigrava, simply face to face with Narada Muni, they got liberated. They went back to Krishna Lok, So that is the power of the devotees. They are more purified than the water of the Ganges even. O Sutta the Great says, who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them. Whereas water of the Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use. See, the devotees is very easy, very fast they can purify. Therefore, one should be like a water, just like water is purifying, and devotees should be like always pure and sanctified, so that anybody come in contact with devotee, they will be sanctified. That is the lesson we should learn from the water. So then we can go to the another spiritual master. Avadutta is speaking to King Jajati. Fire. What we learn from the fire? Fire is very powerful. When it burns everything and remain unaffected, anything fire can burn, it is unaffected. So it purifies everything. Similarly, saintly person, even though given opportunity to enjoy material object, they do not do that. But if sometimes they do, Krishna is quoting this beautiful verses. If sometimes they eat also uncontaminated food, they were not affected, because they are so powerful due to austerity, like a fire. Anything they do, just like a gopis, they transgresses the conventional. What they have not transgresses, they transgresses they violate the social law, convention law, every rules and regulation they have transgressed. But they are so exalted that everything become, they were not unaffected. They are unaffected by all the things. Therefore, saintly person very unaffected, like a fire. Everything comes to them, material things, everything is just consumed. It is like, they're unaffected by all the things, like a fire. And another thing about fire is that, just like a fire, do not disclose this fire covered by the ashes. Similarly, the glories of the devotee always like a covered by the ashes. They do not want to disclose the glories. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. But whenever it is needed for preaching, they do that, just like Prabhupada. Nobody knew Prabhupada. Prabhupada is so glorious. In India, he was there. But when time comes, everybody came to know his glories. So that is the thing, that they are like a fire, saintly people. Whenever they need it, they go and they burn. Everything comes, and whenever they wanted to, uh, they do not want to expose their glories, they keep silent. Like Prabhupada went to the Bowery. Bowery is the lowest of lowest in America, full of drunkard, full of these young boys. They are full of LSD, drunkard. In that Bowery, where people do not like to go, that places Prabhupada stayed in a rent house and conducted the program and preached. Not only that, registered the institutions, Krishna consciousness movement, and he was preaching, giving classes. From that, he started this international Krishna consciousness movement. That was the fire like that, so much austere. They consume any bad thing, still not affected. And Prabhupada went to the Agarwal. When he reached America, he was penniless. So he went to the place called Sally Agarwal house. So the Sally Agarwal house, he opened the fridge. He saw the meat. He opened the fridge to keep his prasadam. Still he keep it, but he was uncontaminated. He was uncontaminated. This is they are like a fire. Everything come in contact, bad thing also. They are not unaffected. That is saintly person. Saintly person. So then we can learn from the moon. Moon is very important to learn, because the stage of one bodily condition beginning with the birth, ending with death, have no effect upon the eternal soul. Just like our vision of waxing moon, waning moon does not affect the moon itself. Such changes occur due to the imperceptible movement of time. See, moon is sometimes is waning moon, sometimes is waxing moon. But moon is moon. It is not, the phase is not unaffected. Similarly, our birth condition, death condition, it should not affect the spirit soul. We should know that we are spirit soul. All kind of birth and death. Krishna say in chapter 2:13 that sober person never bewildered by such changes. Dehinam sunjatha de komuram jauvanam cha tatha dehantara prapti dhiras tatra namuhati. Dhiras means sober person. The devotee, they do not affect by such changes. Because this is the quality we learn from the moon. Moon is not affected by the waning or waxing moon, different phases of the moon. Similarly, the spirit soul, we should not affect by the temporary change of the body. Birth and death as well as other transformation are meant only for the material body, not for the spirit soul. Just as apparent waxing and waning of the moon does not affect the moon itself, such changes are enforced by the imperceptible movement of time. It's a movement of time. Krishna says movement of time. The next verse, Krishna is telling that 2:14, that what is that verse? That it is just like summer season and winter season. It appears and disappears. Better tolerate that. Matra spashastu konteya sitosna sukha dukkada agamapiyan tangti tikha sarjana. So that is the thing, same thing we learn from the moon. Then sun. What we learn from the sun? Sun is evaporates water, then distributed in the form of rain. In the same way, self-realized soul accept the sense object by means of their senses. Later, if someone approaches them, ask for those objects, they give them. Therefore, self-realized soul are not attached to anything. They do not think of in terms of I have got something, I have donated something. Sun, see, this is a very important point. This many people, patana, patana, jajana, jadana, dana, pratikar. Many people, Prabhupada say many times, once you are a preacher, you will get so much money. Once you get the money now, your right hand should not know, the left hand should not know how you spend this money with your right hand. So it is not meant for, because devotee knows that Bhaktaram Jagyam Tapasam Sarvalokam Maheswara. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer of all the things, the beneficiary of all our sacrifice. Today I was reading one beautiful Prabhupada verse. Prabhupada said that whole material life is going on. Everybody is sacrificing for something, for some others. The ultimate sacrifice is sacrifice for Krishna, because that will give you the perfection. So here also, the sun just like evaporates the water and send it again to as a rainwater. Similarly, a devotee, wherever he gets something material thing, he should immediately spend it for Krishna. or preaching activities, Krishna consciousness activities. You should not keep hoarding it. This hoarding business is not there. Hoarding business is very, very bad. So we should immediately distribute. So that is the thing we should learn from this song. And another thing we should learn from this song, the song may be reflected of various surface, thus appear in a variety of way. But we know the song itself is far beyond such manifestation, has nothing to do with them. In the same way, the spirit soul are reflected through their material bodies, which exhibit myriad designations, such as the white, black, male, female, young, soul, eternal constitutional position in nothing far beyond this temporary manifestation, however, has nothing to do with them. Very nice thing. All this purport is not by me or by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This purport, all this writing, what I am speaking, is exactly as it is by the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. The sun may be reflected of various surface, appear in varieties of way. Sun is on the water, sun in the house, sun in the forest, different way. Similarly, the spirit soul having different engaged in the material body has different designation. I am the engineer, I am doctor, I am white, I am father, I am son. But spirit soul should be always far beyond this designation, because he knows I am nothing. These are the designation. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tat prasadena nirmalam. Narada Pancharitrika, 1970. Sisi Madhya. Say that Sarvopadi, all this Upadhi, material designation, I am this, I am black, I am white, I am American, I am Indian, I am Singaporean. All this is material designation. This is identity crisis. IC is not identity card, identity crisis. Just like Arjuna is lamenting because of identity crisis. He is my teacher, he is my grandfather, he is my cousin, he is my this father. Similarly, we have identity crisis. So we should learn from this song that all these designations are just not me. It is far beyond me. It may be reflected in different way. In sun rays reflected in a different way, and it appears to be different. If it reflects on the mirror, it different. It reflects in the water, it different. Similarly, the material body is reflected in a soul is reflected through the material body, different designation. We should nothing to do with them. We should learn from this song. Very nice learning. And finally, the eighth one, this eighth spiritual master, pigeon. In this chapter, this is the final learning from a spiritual master. Pigeon. This pigeon is very important. The story of pigeon. The lesson to be learned from the pigeon: one should never have too much affection for anyone, nor should one become attached to anything, nor should one be wholly attached to the maintaining his dependency. So there's a very nice story. There was a pigeon who lived in the forest along with his wife. He built a suitable nest within a tree. There he lived. Along with this, in course of time, they have got some offspring, children. And they were so much affectionate to the children. So one day what happened, the mother and father, just like we are going for office, the wife and husband. Similarly, mother and father, they went for getting some livelihood. When they come and they saw that the hunter has put the net and captured their children. When the mother sea pigeon saw that, he could not tolerate the separation. She immediately jumped into the net and captured. And the he pigeon, he thought that, what is this life? My wife is on the net, my children are in the net. What I will do? Better I also jump into the net. So, and in this way, they were all captured by the hunter, and hunter went back to home. So what is we learn from the pigeon house? One is excessively attached to the family life. They are not going to go back to Godhead. That is a colossal loss. There's so many verses in this regard. So I will show you this very nice verses are there. So we should not be excessively attached. Family life, grihastha, devotee also, always should not be so much attached to wife, children, etc. What is the problem if you are attached? Those who are interested only in so-called beautiful life, namely remaining as a householder, entangled by son and a wife, searching after wealth, thinking that such things are life's ultimate goal. Such people simply wander in different types of body throughout the material existence without finding out ultimate goal of life. That is it's very nicely spoken. because the household are so much attached to their beautiful wife, children, and they cannot go back to Godhead. They miss the chance. Therefore, Brahmaji also say that they will miss the chance. Brahmaji say very nicely that, my dear Lord Krishna, until people become your devotee, their material attachment and desire remain thieves. Their homes remain prisons. Their affectionate feeling for their family member remain footsteps. This is the bondage. This is the bondage. Forest of enjoyment. This is Canto 5th, it is say, the 514. They say, and this shackles, the so-called marriage is just like a ring, is just a handcuff. Smallest handcuff is the ring. As soon as you, male and female, then they are united, and they are so much attached, they forget the ultimate goal of life. It is stated in this Navajogendra, in 11th canto, it is stated by Navajogendra to Nimi Maharaj. Prabhupada said, accepting the roles of male, female in human society, the conditions will unite in sexual relationship. That they constantly make material endeavor to eliminate their unhappiness, unlimitedly increase their pleasure, but one should see that they inevitably achieve exactly the opposite result. In other words, their happiness inevitably vanishes as they grow older, their material discomfort increases. See, they are thinking that, oh, they will be happy, united, my children, my wife, chirping sound of the children is very affectionate. They're so much attached, wholly attached. They do not know that anytime things can be reversed. They do not know that. See, there is a beautiful verse. They do not know that they are in a very dangerous situation. Narada Muni say that, my dear king, please search out the deer who is engaged in eating grass in a very nice flower garden along with his wife. The deer is very much attached to his business. He is enjoying the sweet singing of bumblebees in his garden. Just try to understand his position. He is unaware that before him is a tiger which is accustomed to living at the cost of another flesh. Behind the deer is a hunter who is threatening to pierce him with sharp arrow. Thus the deer death is imminent. That is the position of the pigeons. The pigeons, they do not know. They are so much happy, wife, husband, having a sexual relationship, procreate the children, so much attached to children. In this way, they are enjoying. They do not know the time factor will come and destroy you. Nobody can have fun and frolic at the expense of material nature. Despite our tenacious determination to stay in this material temporary world, the death will reject us ruthlessly, very mercilessly. They do not know that. Same thing, pigeons are doing same thing. They were so much engrossed, they do not know the dangers. So therefore, Krishna spoke very nice verses to Uddhava in this regard, that in this way, one who is too attached to family life becomes disturbed at the heart like a pigeon. He tries to find pleasure in mundane sex attraction, busily engaged in maintaining his own family. The miserly person is fated to suffer greatly along with all his family members. Case closed here. Krishna has given this beautiful example that if we are so much attached, my family, my calculative, so much calculative, how to earn money, how to increase our bank balance so that my children will be happy in future. Always thinking of this, mundane sex attraction, maintaining family, very expertly maintaining family, always calculative. Then they do not know, they will suffer endlessly. The material world will not allow, Maya will not allow to have a fun and frolic, to have a rest and relax. No, that is the nature of material world, intrinsic nature. So Krishna is ending this chapter with a beautiful verses. We will also end this session with this beautiful verses. The doors of liberation are opened wide to one who is active human life. This is very important. Other species, they don't have prerogative. They don't have prerogative, they don't have privilege. But human life, yes, doors are liberation open. But if a human being simply devoted himself to the family life like a foolish bird in the story, then he is to be considered as one who has climbed to a high place only to trip and fall down. After having this human form of life, which is even the Rahugana, this Jadabharat was speaking to Rahugana. Even the demigods, they wanted to have a human body because it's very easy to go back to Godhead. So after having this rare Dullabam, what is that? Sudullabam, very rare human form of life. Labda Sudullabam idam bahu sambhavate. After many, many evolutionary process, one achieved this human form of life because it gives an opportunity to get liberated from this material existence, obnoxious material existence. But if after getting human being, he is so much devoted to family life, like a foolish bird in the story of pigeon, he is to be considered that who is going to climb high but trip. That means we have evolved so much high and come to the form of human form of life. That is the highest perfection of all the evolutionary process. Human form of life, the perfection of human, all evolutionary process. After coming to the topmost position, we are falling down again to animal life. That is the misfortune. That is colossal loss. That is colossal loss. Therefore, Kṛṣṇa telling we should not be. Don't do the foolish. This is foolishness. Colossal foolishness. This is a Himalayan blunder. Enormous error. Monumental mistake. If after getting human form of life, we are so attached to family, then we are sliding down again to the abominable species of life, lower species of life. Again, it will take millions, trillions years to evolve as a human form of life. Labda sudullabam idam bo sambhava. Asitim chaturachcha iva lakkhana tana jiva jati. After evolving 8.4 million species of life, we have got this human form of life. It takes trillions of years. And we lose it simply by our foolishness of so much being overly attached to our family, our children, maintaining family. That is not acceptable. That is foolishness. So this is a very good lesson we should learn. A devotee must read this Uddhava Gītā. Very good lesson we should learn from all these things. So from all this Uddhava Gītā, that how a devotee should be, should imbibe all the things. Imbibe this knowledge and act upon it. Because the spiritual wisdom is not just informational and analytical. It is profound, it is reflective, it is contemplative. It is action. Therefore, first of all, we should get this information. Then we should contemplate, reflect on this and act upon it. Then we should know that, oh, how this information, how it is. Because most of the people, even the devotees, they are overly attached to their family. So therefore, one should learn all the things and act upon it. So, let me see if any other things in my notes there. So, in this way, we learn from the pigeon. Then there is a summary of all the things. From the earth, we learn how to become steady or tolerant. From the mountain and tree, how to do good to others. From the life air, we learn how to remain satisfied with bare necessity. From the sky, we learned that we should not be free from contamination. From water, we should learn how to remain naturally pure and sanctified. From the fire, we learned that how to become, how to become unaffected by contamination. From the moon, we learned the material body develops, then dwindles. So we should not be affected by distress and happiness, or birth and death, any kind of circumstances. From the sun, we learned that despite in contact with object of enjoyment, we are not untangled, and learn to spread everything, learn to free from any material designation. From the pigeon, we learned that the consequence of too much affection of one's family is not good. So in this way, there is important verses are there. So I've got. So in this way, we will stop here. This Bhagavad Gītā, Uddhava Gītā, is a very, very important subject matter. This is the first chapter of the Uddhava Gītā, where Lord is instructing the story, the meeting, the conversation between Avadhuta Brahmana and King Jadu. And Avadhuta Brahmana is speaking that I learned all these things from 24 spiritual master, and this first verse only 8 spiritual master. In the next session, we will continue with what we learned from other spiritual masters. So thank you very much. Jai Ganthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Uddhava Gītā ki jai, Nitai Guru Hari Bol jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.